Welcome, Seeker, to our explainer of the frozen zenith. For this journey, I'll be acting as the architect of this descent, and I'm inviting you to leave the warmth of your chaotic world far behind. We're stepping into the temple of the Iron Pen. It's a grim realm where the fluid-shifting breath of life is systematically replaced by the unbreakable density of unyielding law. So brace yourself. We are embarking on a very methodical descent into absolute stasis.
I want you to listen closely to the words of the Sentinel, proclaimed directly to the silent shadows of the world ash. Your flight was a mirage, for I have smelted the gold of your stories into the lead of my foundation. Just feel the sheer weight of that declaration for a second. Every dream, every ounce of potential you ever possessed is now permanently entombed. You see, the alchemy of this realm doesn't elevate things, it compresses them. It takes the gleaming, malleable gold of your personal narrative and literally melts it down into heavy, immovable lead. There is absolutely no room left for growth here, only permanence.
Okay, let's dive right into Section 1, the illusion of becoming and the death of the Dionysian rupture.
Now, this is where the philosophy of our dark fable really takes root. It's all about the ultimate triumph of being over becoming. Think about the fluid dancer. She represents the Dionysian rupture, that wild, transformative power of an individual spirit that is always shifting, always growing. But in this realm, that beautiful chaos is systematically murdered by the Iron Sentinel. He embodies being in its absolute most terrifying form, cold regularity and unyielding law. The warm fluidity of the dancer is just utterly crushed to secure an unbreakable foundation.
And, the very environment of the temple completely reflects this ideological shift. It's like the atmosphere itself is actively designed to suffocate change. The air is no longer a medium for breath. Instead, it's a solid density of unyielding law. Any instinct or desire for growth is treated like a dangerous fever, and the Sentinel's environment is the ultimate cure. It's a suffocating, cold regularity that freezes you exactly where you stand.
Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. Weaponizing the Iron Pen, the death of interpretation. So how does this happen? Well, the Sentinel doesn't just use physical force. He actually weaponizes the architecture of communication itself. Enter the Song runes. These aren't just your standard letters. They are fixed truths carved directly into the world's bark. By wielding these runes, the Sentinel permanently destroys what's called the philologist's soft lens. Basically, he eradicates the subjective, beautiful dance of meaning and forcibly replaces it with fixed, undeniable laws. There's no room for debate anymore.
So the crucial point here is that this weaponization is a systematic three-step process of entombment. Step 1, hijack the narrative through intellectual salvage, basically claiming the victories of the past. Step 2, eliminate that soft lens of interpretation using those runes we just talked about. And finally, Step 3, carve every single path forward into a permanent dead end. The Iron Pen isn't writing a continuing story here, right? It's trapping the human spirit in a corner it can literally never escape. And here is the incredibly chilling result of that exact process. The history of human error, all our mistakes, our growth, our shifting perspectives, is permanently entombed as a foundation of law. By smelting the gold of subjective stories into the lead of objective permanence, the Sentinel ensures that no new interpretations can ever take root again. The past is entirely frozen, and it rigidly dictates a future that will never, ever change.
Continuing our descent, we hit Section 3, the backward ticking clock and siphoning the horizon.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that if language is frozen, time logically has to follow. Above the Sentinel's brow, there is a backward ticking clock that acts as a metronomic weapon, actively stealing the very concept of tomorrow. Let's break that down. At -1 second, it siphons the last lingering warmth of your ambition. At -2, it erases your very memory of horizon. And by -3, your ability to even imagine a future is completely extinguished. It's entirely gone. With the future erased like that, you, the seeker, are left with this incredibly cold decree. You are now a guardian of dead things. Think about it. Because your ability to imagine a future has been ripped away, you are forever chained to the heavy weight of past values. You have no choice but to uphold the sterile regularity of the Sentinel's law. You aren't an explorer anymore. You're just a watchman standing over a graveyard of frozen ideals.
Section 4. The Tragedy of the Static Sovereign. The spirit of gravity achieves total victory.
All of this absolute control comes at a terrifying philosophical cost. It's the tragic irony of a will that has mastered the void only by completely becoming it.
Just observe the spear, Gungnir. Its true potential is as a purposeful weight of the will, something meant to launch the soul toward unexplored heights. But under the Sentinel's reign, its weight is driven violently downward. It's used solely to anchor the soul to the earth and crush absolutely any upward trajectory. To maintain this kind of dark sovereignty, some seriously heavy sacrifices have to be made. The Sentinel completely forfeits the fluid vision of the future. He sacrifices the divine eye that seeks out new horizons. He rejects all growth, brushing it off as mere frivolity. And ultimately, he assumes the form of a pillar of salt. It is a grim, grim conclusion. The temple he's built isn't a sanctuary for life. It's a monument to a progress that has reached a terminal dead end. Sure, he's secured ultimate safety, but the cost was life itself.
Finally, Section 5. The Monolith of Identical Vacancy, a Cage of Absolute Certainty. We have officially arrived at the deepest chamber, where the transition is absolute. The Sentinel holds up silver mirror shards, but they don't reflect the fluid dancer anymore. Instead, they reflect this agonizing, blinding reality, the identical vacancy of a sun that has reached its zenith and flat-out refuses to set. Imagine a blaring, oppressive high noon, where no shadows ever move and time stands perfectly, completely still. It is a world that utterly refuses to turn. And this brilliantly illustrates the final reality of the monolith. It's a structure where potential is entombed, so perfectly that even the void is denied its hunger. This is the ultimate paradox of the Sentinel's dark sovereignty. He sits upon a throne that isn't really a throne at all. Having weaponized the runes and halted time, yes, he reigns absolute. But a kingdom where every single path has been meticulously carved into a permanent dead end, that's not a kingdom. It's merely a cage of absolute certainty.
So we have mapped out the architecture of absolute stasis. We've seen exactly how the chaos of growth is murdered, how language and time are weaponized into heavy iron laws, and how the relentless pursuit of permanence just builds an inescapable cage. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to really look at the unyielding walls around you right now and ask yourself, are you still dancing, Seeker, or have you already become a guardian of dead things?